Good morning and welcome. It is 8:30. It is the 12th day of April 2021. I am your grumpy guide to all things gaming. It is strangely foggy today, even though it's spring and I live in a beach town. WrestleMania has come and gone. We saw way more title exchanges than I thought we were going to see. We saw the Fiends push once again get ruined and we saw Asuka lose the women's title for reasons that make no sense because they don't know what to do with her. And it's time for the gaming news. What's going on in the world of our amazing hobby today? Okay. So, Mofidus has announced that the Dune Adventure and the Imperium, the role-playing game, is now available for PDF. And the PDF is $19.99. The hardcore cover version is available for pre-order for $59.99. And the limited edition hardcover is $109.99. A lot of excitement, expectations. What are we going to do? Will a Dune role-playing game actually work? Is there anybody actually interested in playing in that IP? We'll see. We definitely will see. We covered IPs this week briefly over on the Legion of Myth. So it's definitely an interesting topic. Putting IPs like Star Wars, Dune, Dallas, because yes, there was a Dallas role-playing game. Will they work? Also, from the same people, we can look for Fallout, the post-nuclear tabletop role-playing game, coming out the 2D20 system. It's we've got some special we've got some special videos coming out and some interviews. First in the core resolution mechanic and how special fits into the 2D20 system, character creation, stuff like that. So if you're interested in finding out more about the forthcoming Fallout role-playing game, and yes, they do use bottle caps in the system. There's a picture of it right here. That makes it extra cool right there. I wonder if I'd probably work like Benny's did in Savage World. You spend a bottle cap to get something extra. Check out the videos and the interviews over at the EN World website. Goodman Games has got a upcoming release of Dark Tower, originally published by the Judges Guild. This original module was distinguished as the only third-party adventure for Dungeons & Dragons to make Dragon Magazine's list of greatest D&D modules of all time. This is dating back to the 80s. The module will be updated for both 5e rules and for the Dungeon World Classic system, with original designer Janelle Jekus on board to design the new version. And as expected from Goodman Games, the original Advanced Dungeons & Dragons First Edition module will be republished with its entirety, with new scans, as well as the 5th edition upgrade. So if you were interested in seeing a 5th edition version of one of the very first non-D&D Judges Guild products that wasn't approved and is considered one of the greatest dungeons of all time, this is definitely a must-have. There's a Pathfinder has announced Beastery 3 for Pathfinder 2nd Edition in both a hardcover and softcover. We also have some of their current adventure paths coming to an end. Crash and Burn, Part 5 of the 6-part Fly Free or Die adventure path for Starfinder. Eyes of the Empty Death, the final part of the Abomination Vaults adventure path for Pathfinder. We've got a new one called Pathfinder Bounty, the Tireless Path, which is basically a bounty board style adventures. Flip maps and tiles coming out for Starfinder. Wilderness maps coming out for Pathfinders. Another one of those decks of cards with 100 cards of every magic weapon and armor from the Pathfinder core rulebook. So a lot of stuff coming out for Pathfinder this month. There's a new role-playing game coming out based upon the Twilight Imperium system. The announcement came via an update in the Twilight Imperium Codex. So if you're interested in Fantasy Flight Games doing a Twilight Imperium role-playing game, it looks like I haven't had coffee yet. It is a combination using Fantasy Flight, Edge Studios, and Genesis system, as all three logos are on it. That should be interesting. New details for Magic the Gathering expansion Dungeons & Dragons Adventures in the Forgotten Realm. This will be a core set for 2021, meaning it replaces the core set released each year. For those unfamiliar, this means, I don't know what this means. I guess is it Commander format or regular format? It's both. So basically, Forgotten Realms is becoming the new core set for Magic. So as of whatever date this comes out, 2021, Forgotten Realms Magic the Gathering is now the core set, and any other expansions that come out after it will be using the Magic the Gathering Forgotten Realms core set as the basis. So, yeah, we knew this was going to happen in some form. The Hasbro CEO has been saying he wants Magic and D&D to become one IP, and because he feels that the main audience of Dungeons and Dragons is Magic players. Magic the Gathering did start as a D&D thing that the players in Richard Garfield's game were doing on nights where, before they were waiting for the game to start or before everybody showed up. It was just this little weird thing that Richard Garfield came up using index cards, and it became what it is. And now it seems to be going full circle and coming back to its D&D roots. So, yeah. Good news for Dungeons & Dragons, because I guess it'll bring more Magic players over to D&D. At least that's what they're thinking. Maybe not such good news for Magic players, because they kind of always wanted to be separate from D&D, and now they're all becoming just one big happy or unhappy family. On paper, this sounds good. In real life, it's probably going to blow up in our face, but whatever. Okay. And Steve Jensen Games has announced that there is now a Munchkin Critical Role Mighty 9 game set for Munchkin. So now you can have the Mighty 9 characters, Mighty 9 treasures, Mighty 9 encounters in your Munchkin game. This is 172 new cards for Munchkin, but now applied to the world of Wildemount. So it can be played as a independent game version of Munchkin, just using those cards, or because it's Munchkin, it's completely compatible with the rest of the Munchkin cards, which, yeah, we're Critical Role. We'll never sell out. Oh, here, use our licenses, Steve Jackson Games, for a Munchkin thing. Thank you for the sweet, sweet money. Yeah, IPs, man. Considering, is Munchkin even playable anymore? If you had every Munchkin expansion, it would just be a tower of cards, probably as tall as me. I don't know if you can play Munchkin with every expansion anymore. I think that's just impossible. And the whole point of Munchkin has kind of just been lost. It's just now more just a way to make a few bucks off of a dwindling IP. Steve Jackson's Munchkin, where IPs go to die. What else is going on in the world today of gaming? Not much. Yeah. Yeah, not much. Guess the big thing is the Dune and the Fallout. Seeing the reprinted Dark Tower is kind of interesting, and I'm definitely interested in that. I like the idea that the Fallout role-playing game is using bottle caps, staying true to the video game. There has been a lot of attempts to make a Fallout role-playing game, but this is, I guess, the first official Fallout role-playing game, and yes, it is using special as the stats. So who knows where we will be going with this, but it's definitely interesting to see what happens. And that's about it. Does any of this at all sound exciting to you? Oh, new bookcase. Now I can actually see my games. Ooh, but the posters had to go because of the bookcase. That's it. If you appreciate this content, let me know by commenting down below. Support, subscribe, hit that notification button so you always know what's going on with the OG GM Adventures. Help me hit the legendary 500 subs by August 4th. And until then, look at that weird, scary fog. Talk to you later. Get off my lawn.